Do you get to play D&D as part of this podcast?
I don't know. I mean, that's a thing that people do on podcasts now, but I think it's pretty stupid to listen to other people playing D&D.
What are you doing?
Nothing?
Be nice, roll dice.
Do you have one of those stickers?
No.
Where'd you hear about that?
It's on your laptop.
Oh, I have that sticker. Welcome to Your Aleatoric Reality, the podcast that invites you to take a chance. I'm your host, Misha, and I'm joined by my own personal salacious crumb, Damon. So Damon and I are here with a bunch of dice and a few ideas. We thought about calling this podcast the Two Babbling Idiots, but we settled on Your Aleatoric Reality instead.
I think the most appropriate title you've ever given me for a podcast was Drunk Dad, Sober Dad.
Yeah, I was the first podcast idea I pitched to Damon was Drunk Dad, Sober Dad. You can guess which was which, and we were gonna just take questions about fatherhood and stuff. I guess that's all the further I got with the idea, which is why we didn't do it.
Right.
But I didn't get much further with this idea, and here we are doing it. But this is an idea that doesn't really
Involve other people.
require a lot of pre-planning because it's random.
Right.
So we have some segments to do. Well, we've got to play our theme song.
Here's the good thing about randomness that I think we should really, just intent-wise, we should say right up front. When you feel like you have a need to have a plan, but that seems mundane, go random.
Well, that's interesting that you say that because I do have a scheme that I use when I'm procrastinating. When I have things that I have to get done, but I don't feel like doing them, I will make a list of 3 things I have to get done and 3 things I would rather do for fun, and I make them in short chunks, like 10 or 15 minutes. And then I make the list, and I roll it.
So work, masturbate, masturbate.
That would be your list, probably. But that could be. I mean, that could be. It would be better to have 3 different things that were fun.
Well, yeah.
Anyhow, that's my procrastination busting tip when it comes to the dice. And then we get to the news. Randomness in the news. Got some news stories for you.
What the fuck? Are these just random news stories, or are there news stories about randomness?
No, news stories that have something tangentially to do with randomness. There's a news story about the death penalty in Florida. How random is that? The Orlando Sentinel reported that a study of like death penalty, like actual executions as opposed to people who are on death row, but actual executions, they say that it shows the randomness of capital punishment. And they cite a statement by Justice Stephen Breyer and Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg that said in a 2015 decision that for a defendant to receive a death sentence and to find it implemented is the equivalent of getting struck by lightning. Yeah, that's just because this news story had it talks about the random application. It's not justice if people who get sentenced to death might or might not die.
So are they rolling for it?
Lightning strikes are pretty random too, and that's what Justice Breyer likened.
Do you know that lightning actually originates from the ground?
I've heard this.
I've seen video
stated.
of it. So there's time-lapse video, and what happens is the lightning starts in the cloud, and it starts at the ground at the same time. And then
because it's opposite charges.
Right, and the 2 charges meet in the middle, and that's the strike.
But I've seen visually, sometimes there's a thunderstorm, and you can visually see the streaks of lightning going downward.
I think it's an illusion. I watched the time-lapse video, and it literally
Time-lapse videos don't lie.
all these little fingers come up from the ground, and all these little fingers come down from the cloud, and then 2 of the fingers connect, and it's over. It's really fascinating.
There's a huge clap of thunder, and
Yeah.
somebody in Florida gets executed.
Yep, that's right.
It's completely-
And the guff is empty.
Completely random. All right, I was pretty sure that I had more than one article about randomness queued up, but I'm not seeing it anymore. Oh yeah, there was a mathematician who won the Abel Prize, which I've never heard of before. Have you ever heard of the Abel Prize? Not the Nobel Prize.
Is that
the
like-
Abel Prize?
So wait, did they make this award so Stephen Hawking couldn't win it?
It's ABEL. PC Dad, politically incorrect, Dad.
Well, I mean, if you're a mathematician, you probably hate Stephen Hawking.
Why? He's a physicist. He's not even in the same field. I mean, there's math and physics, of course.
I mean, I'm aware of both.
Do you know any mathematicians who hate Stephen Hawking? And if so, can we get them on the show?
No, but
If you're out there and you are a mathematician and you hate Stephen Hawking, please get in touch with us. We would love to have you on as a guest.
favorite Stephen Hawking random aside, there is speculation that he was into bondage at S&M.
Are you sure you're not thinking of Jacques Derrida?
Yeah, because I don't know who that is.
I was thinking of Michel Foucault anyway, but
But apparently he one of
all
two,
those French theorists are the same to me.
he would have random bruises on his arms and legs and body and stuff that were unexplainable. And he said, "Oh, I fell out of the chair."
Well, that's perfectly plausible because he didn't have a lot of muscle control.
But then the speculation that I heard was that the wounds or the whatever you want to call the marks,
The stigmata.
were more consistent with that behavior. Yes, yes.
All right. Fan theories about Stephen Hawking's S&M activities aside, I actually had a coworker at one time that had ALS. They had a counselor. They had a group counseling therapy session for me and the other staff members to talk about it, and everybody's kind of talking about how they thought about it, and we all knew it was inevitable that he was going to perish. Because that's how that disease runs. Stephen Hawking was an outlier. People do not live that long usually with ALS.
Yeah.
And
It was the S&M that kept them alive.
when it got around, everybody's expressing their feelings, and when it got around to me, I said, well, the way I see it, he got exactly the same as everybody else. He got exactly one lifetime. And everybody was like, ooh. And the grief counselor was like, well, that's an interesting perspective. And I got it from Neil Gaiman's Sandman. Death says that the character of Death in Neil Gaiman's Sandman says that at one point he got the same as everybody else. All right, well, let's get to the meat of the matter,
Okay.
which shall be topic, Q&A, or debate. I added a category since last time.
Oh, I like that. I like
Yeah.
the debate part. I like the
All
debate
right,
thing.
so I hope we get it, because if we get Q&A again, I don't know how we're going to really roll with that, but I'm going to roll for topic. Do you want to do the honors?
No. I like it's. I like you rolling.
Okay, I'm going to roll for our main body of the show, and I did get Q&A again.
All right. Who?
So you need to just ask me some random questions, or find a list of questions and just ask me random ones off of there.
What is your favorite color?
Purple or red or black?
What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
I'm not sensing a lot of randomness because this is another movie reference, but I don't want to fall into the pit, so I will just hazard a wild guess. A laden swallow.
The correct answer is, what? Do you mean African or European? And then I would then fly into the chasm. Or chasm.
Is it a chasm?
It's a thing you fall into.
Most of them are chasms, but that one was a chasm.
I think it's a chasm.
It could be. There's arguments over whether to pronounce it niche or niche.
Niche is a douchey.
Is it?
I also say it, but it's douchey.
Niche.
Niche. It's like, I'm going to say this word in the French way. Then I'm going to eat some French fries. and French dressing.
What's wrong with French things?
I don't know.
Do you hate French?
It was a
people?
Better Off Dead reference. It was another.
And can you only speak in movie quotes?
I mean, it's the mode I'm in for some reason.
Yeah, it is. You're not always that way.
No.
Let's get to the bottom of this. So you want to try a different? Do you want to try the debate just since we have a new?
Hold on, I'm using.
Oh,
the
you're getting
internet.
them. Okay. Oh, so that was just a feint.
Yes.
Feint.
Correct.
That was a feint.
Don't make me open my repartee.
Princess Bride?
No, that was just a sword fighting.
Oh, you were just speaking French some more?
Why are all websites AI now and they're just fucking useless?
Because AI, while not good, is extremely prolific.
It's
So if you're a person who wants to
clickbait,
if you want to fill your website up with 1,000 clickbait articles with ads, you scroll through and there's like 600 ads that you have to scroll past. AI is very good for doing that sort of thing.
how many questions am I asking you? What die are we rolling?
Let's roll 2 4-sided dice.
All right, I will actually roll these.
Great.
This,
I'm glad
by the way, is a potentially lethal 4-sided die.
Because it is solid metal.
It sure is, and it's.
Need to borrow one?
Yeah, apparently, and also the only one I have because these are the caltrops of D&D. 6 questions.
Whoa.
Are you ready?
That is
Question
one
number
more
1.
than last time.
What is your favorite piece of clothing you own?
I thought you were going to say, what is your favorite color again? And I was going to smack you. Oh, can I answer what my favorite piece of clothing I have ever owned is?
No.
All right.
The time frame of the question is clearly stated.
Now, what favorite piece of clothing that I own?
Unless you consider the ghosts of former clothes to be things that you still own.
Sadly, I don't.
Okay.
If I can't wear it, it's not
I
clothes.
gave it out.
My favorite.
But can your ghost wear them?
I'm gonna just say my favorite article of clothing that I currently own is my Tai Chi robes, which are all black and linen. There's a little like button clasp by the neck that's a tiger eye, like a tumbled tiger eye.
Ooh.
It's really cute. I don't have a lot of occasion to wear it, but I do love it.
Question 1B.
What do you mean question 1B? All right.
Well, I have a follow-up question.
All right.
Dost thou Tai Chi?
Not expertly.
But I mean, like, you have an outfit for a specific activity. Do you also do that activity?
I do. I have a very short form that I learned from a VHS tape that my mom had when I was like a teenager. And it's not the full, like people who really do Tai Chi for serious have like this really long form that has like, I don't know, 18 or 20 sections or whatever. And you like, and you learn, your first like year of training is just like learning the first 2 sections. And I don't have that kind of patience. But I have this form there's like, I think like 6 sections. It's like pared down. It's like dumbed down for like, people who aren't Asian. And
Tai Chi answers the question, what if dancing was boring?
Well, anytime anybody ever asks you, what are you doing? There are 2 answers that could always be appropriate. One of them is dancing, and one of them is experimenting. Those are always valid. But so I have this short form that I do. I do know a Tai Chi teacher that corrected my form on a couple of the things. So I'm not just doing this thing that I learned from a video. I'm still doing the form from the video, but I did get some input from some other instructors.
Question 2, Prime. What is your favorite book?
You're just going to ask you a bunch of favorite questions?
I have a random question generator that I found that is a picture of a rubber ducky swimming.
Okay, great. My favorite... I like that you're using a random question generator. That is on brand.
Yes.
My favorite book right now, I would probably say, is Why Materialism is Baloney by Bernardo Kastrup. Bernardo Kastrup is a computer engineer. He has like a PhD in like computer hardware or something, but he has taken a turn into like publishing all these books on philosophy. and I've only read one of them, but the one I read is called "Why Materialism is Baloney." It is a elaborate exploration of the philosophical idea of idealism
And sliced meats.
And sliced meats, because the sliced meats are only an idea. That's the premise, that everything that exists is only thought forms and ideas. And as silly as that idea may sound to common sense, the book puts forth a really compelling case for it. So I do recommend that book.
Interesting. Question 3, Prime. What story does your family always tell about you?
Why are you priming all of these questions?
So that I can have follow-up questions. I'm saying I may have follow-up questions.
I see. Okay. What story does my family always tell about me? I don't have an off-the-top-of-my-head answer about that. I guess they just don't talk about me much.
That's fair. I doubt that's true. What let me modify the. What story do you think your family tells most about you behind your back?
Probably about how I was completely unreliable and directionless for most of my adult life until I quit doing drugs and alcohol. That would probably be it.
Fair. I didn't mean that to be derogatory.
I
was trying to get you.
I had plenty of fun during those years.
Well, yeah, of course you did.
Yeah.
Okay, question 4.
We're on to question 4.
Yep.
Yes, indeed.
Question 4, Prime. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
If I could have any superpower, what would it be and why? Well, it's funny because last episode we talked about being able to read minds and why that wouldn't necessarily be good, but that's if you can't turn it off. If it's a superpower, I imagine you can use it at will when you want to and not have to have it all the time. I did a Hot Ones, since we're in the habit of plugging other shows without them paying us. Hot Ones, that show where Sean Evans interviews celebrities and makes them eat a progressively hotter series of hot wings, and then that's a great show.
Except for the Will Ferrell episode, which was just embarrassing.
I don't know that I saw the Will Ferrell one, but I thought the Conan O'Brien one was horrible.
I'm sorry, that's the one I was thinking.
The Conan O'Brien one was awful. Yeah. Conan ruined the format of the show. He made it into a travesty. Anyhow, I like Conan O'Brien as a writer, but his appearance on that show I didn't care for.
He's too old for that haircut.
But I played. Emily, my wife, got me the Hot Ones hot sauce set as a gift.
Whew.
And so I did a round of ask these silly random generated questions
Question
with hot
4B.
wings.
A, do you like hot sauce?
I love hot sauce.
Do you?
Yes.
So let me ask you a question. Follow-up question.
This is a follow-up to the follow-up?
Yeah.
Which you didn't actually let me answer the prime, but go on.
B.2. B1.2. Well, anyway. Do you like the flavor of hot sauce or the chemical reaction of hot sauce?
It depends on the sauce, because there are sauces that have really complex flavors, and there are sauces that just bludgeon your tongue with capsaicin.
Because I honestly, I'm sorry, I'm turning this around on me, but I've had a side on this. Is I think 90% of those hot sauces are literally just adrenaline rushes.
Well, it depends on the sauce.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, when you get to Da Bomb, I think it's number 8 in the Hot Ones sequence, and Da Bomb is just throw as much crazy pepper in your face.
But there's no flavor.
That's going to be pain.
It's literally just...
But then the next one, number 9, which is called Peppers Up,
number 9?
has a good flavor to it. And it's Scoville-wise, technically hotter than Da Bomb, but it doesn't feel hotter because it has a rich, complex flavor that you can also focus on.
No, I get that. The thing that I dislike about the hot sauce trend is that I feel like 80% of them, it's just, why don't you just kick me in the nuts?
Right.
And then, now, I my stomach doesn't always like the hot sauce, but I do like a nice, like a garlic habanero, for example. You know, can be extremely beneficial. Like, in small doses, as an additive, you know, I have to measure it appropriately to my temperament. But I've done, like, the samplers of, like, Tio's used to have a sampler thing, and I went with my buddy, and we did the thing, and you put a drop on a cracker, and, okay, boom, nuclear explosion, my balls. And then, I mean,
well, let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard of endorphins?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's
endorphins,
exactly,
runner's high.
Exactly.
You get this, like, it actually activates opium receptors. Your body naturally makes chemicals. That's why you have those receptors to ease pain. So as someone who quit all, you know, drugs, alcohol, and I got nothing,
You're where I was going.
I believe there is an element to that because I've always loved hot sauce, but I've gotten way more into hot sauce since I quit drinking.
Right.
And so I can have hey, it's Friday night, I'm going to do a bunch of hot sauces with my friend, we're going to ask each other crazy questions, and I'm going to work my way up to the
erectile
extreme
dysfunction also contribute
to the endorphin rush?
Just kidding. Next question. 5 prime, right?
Wasn't that number? That was number. No, we're on 5. Yeah. We're on 5. Yeah.
What's the worst movie you've ever seen?
The worst movie. It's interesting because when I played Hot Ones with my family and friends, I did the weirdest. What's the weirdest film you've ever seen?
What's the worst movie?
I know, but I'm just taking a sidebar. You do tangents. I'm going to do a tangent because I want to answer what's the weirdest movie you've ever seen. Because
you have to answer both, though.
But when I did it with my family, my kids were there, and I couldn't say my real answer. Because my real answer to what's the weirdest movie you've ever seen is called Hera Purple Devil Goddess.
Wow.
Have you heard of it?
No, but I want to see it.
Hera Purple Devil Goddess. This is, I believe, a Korean film.
Is it better than Bloodsucking Freaks Just Like Your Mama?
The thing is, it's not like there's so many movies you could name that are weird because they're trying to be weird, like all the trauma movies and everything.
Right. Oh yeah.
Which actually, funnily enough, I was at the library earlier. When you were on your meeting, I was at the library, and they had the library was having a First Fridays thing, and there were people rapping, like local people, like, you know, a lot of like younger, like teenagers and stuff were like having this open mic where they were rapping, and the dude who was hosting it is like he's a local guy, but he's, you know, like a mentor and like a more experienced like poet, and he calls himself a comic book nerd. I think he writes comic books. I've never met him before, but. He in one of his raps he dropped a trauma reference, and I was kind of blown away by. But
can you recite that rap?
I cannot. No,
man.
I am not an improv artist. But
no, it's not an improv, it's replication.
Back to the question I'm not supposed to be answering. Hera Purple Devil Goddess, I believe, is a Korean film. It is a bunch of scenes from different porn movies, spliced together with a frame story about this like evil demon goddess. So they have like this evil demon goddess who like possesses these women, but that's just a frame story, just as an excuse to splice together all these different porn clips that don't go together, because like the devil goddess is like, I'm gonna go in her, and then it's just cut to a scene with a woman you've never seen before, a guy you've never seen before. They do it,
so it's just faces of death.
It's kind of,
wow.
But the that's not even the part that makes it weird. The part that makes it weird is that all of the voices are dubbed by people who are clearly Indian. These Indian people who are dubbing the English dialogue sound like they were taught English by native German speakers. So it's like a combined Indian German accent is all of the English dubbing.
That's terrifying,
right?
Because those are conflicting accents.
Yeah, and then it ends with like the whole movie, all the scenes are like completely hetero, one man, one woman, until the very end. The detectives, there's these like detectives who are like trying to track down this devil goddess. The detectives figure out that the only way to defeat her is to have like a 3-way with 2 dudes who are like kind of also into
You
each
know
other.
what's funny? It's actually statistically proven that works.
And I'm not saying that it's weird, and I'm not saying it's weird.
No, I mean to solve crime.
It's not weird to have a three-way with two dudes. That's fine. Lots of people do it.
As a way to solve crime.
As a way to solve crime, and that's the conclusion. Like, this is the answer.
No, I agree completely.
That's total, like,
Are you sure this
tripping
wasn't a
thoughts.
documentary?
It might be a documentary now that I think about it. But the actual worst movie I ever saw, my friend Scott from Pennsylvania, who I mentioned last time, is going to hate me, but I think I have to say Joe versus the Volcano.
It's a pretty shit
And
movie.
my friend Scott says that it's his favorite movie.
And that's like...
Yeah, that's the only movie that I've ever walked out of in the theater.
But Meg Ryan's really cute in it.
She's also cute in Office Girl and...
But I'm saying like
Sleepless in Seattle. Like, she's cute.
I mean, that's true. I just think of Meg Ryan now.
Well, I think of anybody
Plastic
when they're
surgery
40 years
disaster.
older than when they were cute.
No, have you seen the disaster of plastic surgery?
I don't want to insult celebrities on this podcast,
but Tom Hanks.
But you do see celebrities that have gotten like plastic surgery gone wrong. It does happen.
She is definitely on that list.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, the problem there is that people keep talking about how cute she used to be.
Right.
And then, like,
and
what
that
has
just
that done? Like,
more
if
derogatory,
everybody's like all obsessed with like looking young and looking cute, and then as you're an actress,
just get
aging, and you feel all this pressure to be cute and hot all the time, it's really a tragedy. It's not her fault.
Question.
Makes me sad.
Was that 5?
That was 5. Let's go on to 6.
5B. 5A.
No, we did 5.
5A. I have
a
a follow-up
Okay,
question.
great.
Favorite Tom Hanks movie?
Favorite Tom Hanks movie? I think Forrest Gump.
I'm going to go Bachelor Party.
Bachelor Party is like what I call big dumb fun. Like it's like donuts. Like, you think it's good while you're actively eating it, but then afterwards, like, oh, why did I do that?
Yeah, I think I just like that because it's so contrary to his body of work at this point.
But it's where he started from. Like, I mean, he started
it was
on
like his
Buddies.
first movie. Yeah, exactly.
So he was like a goofy comedian.
But
then.
okay, I will say, follow up, not answer to the questions I'm not being asked. Definitely love That Thing You Do.
I have not seen that one.
What?
Haven't seen That Thing You Do.
I've seen that like 15 times. I've seen the extended fucking remix. I've seen like it's written, directed, and just Tom Hanks is in one of the roles, and it's great.
If you want to talk about loving a movie by how many times you've seen it, it's probably Hair for me, because I think I've watched Hair the musical film. I've probably watched that over 100 times.
You're talking about the movie with the movie version.
The movie version of Hair the musical.
I also have seen that a lot.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I had it on videotape when I was in high school, and I used to come home from school every day and watch that movie, all year.
The scene under the, and I don't want to mention what the name of the song is, because it would reinforce my podcast
Your
reputation.
politically incorrect thing.
But that scene under the bridge in Central Park is fucking terrifying. What's your favorite song from Hair?
So Hair, Give Me Head with Hair, Long Beautiful Hair, that one. I like that one a lot. That's the one I identified with because I was a long hair in high school.
Same.
Yeah. So, but I Got Life is pretty good too. And, well, there's a lot of songs in there that are good.
I like
3500 is good.
Oh, it is. Oh, that song is awesome. I really like Manchester, England.
That one's so hokey.
I know. I like it because it's such... I love the dynamics of that piece.
Yeah.
Like, I love... And I'm a genius.
I don't want to get too into it, but I love that movie for the music and for Twyla Tharp's choreography, in spite of Miloš Forman's directing.
But what about Beverly D'Angelo's tits?
I mean, when Beverly D'Angelo was young and cute, man.
Well, no, because Vacation happened years later when she still popped her top.
She's proud and in your face with her boobies. So what can you do?
Nice tits.
That's fine. But yeah, Miloš Forman, I think, sucks as a director. I hate every movie he's ever directed. I'm sure there are people, I mean, he's an award-winning director. I know people disagree with me, but I feel like he just strangles the life out of everything he touches. The Andy Kaufman movie should have been joyful at parts, at least.
I agree.
And he just stifles. He's got such an iron grip as a director.
I honestly didn't realize that was the same director. And the worst character, who played the fucking lead hippie?
Treat Williams.
Terrible.
He died
he was
recently.
Fucking terrible in that movie.
I thought he was great.
Really?
Yeah.
I always thought he was terrible. He didn't, because that's the Abby Hoffman character, right? And I love Abby. You want to talk about random reality? We talk about Abby Hoffman.
Abby Hoffman, author of Steal This Book.
Yes, I fucking love me some Abby Hoffman, despite his cocaine problems. But that character was supposed to be modeled after Abby, and it did not.
He was a little too clean with it.
Yeah, he was a little too. He was. There was no darkness to his portrayal. I've seen. Have you ever seen Hair done live?
I have not seen Hair done live. It's a very different thing because there's not the plot.
Right.
Like Hair, their idea was to have a be-in on stage. Mm-hmm. Let's have a be-in on stage, and in fact, in the stage version, they're supposed to invite all the audience to come up on the stage at the end and sing "Let the Sun Shine"
get naked.
But in the film, Miloš Forman felt that it needed a very tight and strict plot, and they
he wasn't wrong.
Forced everything into a plot. Yes, a film needs a plot. Yes.
Yeah. Otherwise you just film a production of Hair, right? There are two things that, as a child growing up, I really dove into and changed my psyche and my worldview that were related to the Summer of Love and that whole hippie phenomenon, right? And the first one was Hair. Mm-hmm. And the second one was the Trial of Chicago 8.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever see that on HBO?
I haven't watched that.
Man. So HBO in the 80s did a David Carradine was actually in it. Or not David Carradine, his son. What's his name?
Something Carradine.
Yeah, something, whatever. But anyway, they did. Basically, they took the transcript of the trial and turned it into a script and reenacted it. And I probably watched that and the Cannonball Run 100 times, because it was that era of cable. I'm speaking to a specific time period where there were only 7 or 8 things to watch.
Right. And if you had HBO, it was like they had 20 movies that they played on repeat for 2 months until a new movie came out.
I would literally fake sick to watch Cannonball Run or The Trial of the Chicago 8 when it was being played. Like, I would look at the schedule and I would get up in the morning and not eat breakfast and take a multivitamin because I knew it would give me an upset stomach and I could throw up and then go right back home.
Wow. You had plans and schemes.
We can delve into my absentee school schemes. They're many and elaborate, but I'm just saying the motivation was to see one of those two. Literally, those were like the two television events that I was going to fuck the system for.
Ask me question 6.
Do you remember? Question 6. What is one of your favorite smells?
One of?
You have to pick one. What is your favorite smell?
My favorite smell is... That's a tricky question.
Napalm in the morning.
I remember reading Jitterbug Perfume by Tom Robbins. Have you ever read any Tom Robbins?
No, I have not.
Even Cowgirls Get the Blues is one that was made into a film with Uma Thurman.
Not Tim Robbins.
No. I remember seeing a dating profile one time that said she was looking for a guy who knew the difference between Tim Robbins and Tom Robbins.
Yeah.
She didn't say which one you were supposed to like. She just that you knew the difference.
My dating profile specifies that you must know the difference between Gary Coleman and Gary Oldman, and James Earl Jones and James Earl Ray.
Okay.
Those are the important ones.
I don't know any of those people, but
The voice of Darth Vader and the guy who killed...
I know all of those people. I'm just pretending I'm young. But no, Tom Robbins' Jitterbug Perfume. I had a girlfriend that I dated for a while that said anyone who wants to get in touch with their sense of smell should read Jitterbug Perfume. And she was right. I read Jitterbug Perfume, and it made me think about smells in a way that I had never thought about it before.
And that's when you grew a soul patch.
That's when I grew a soul patch for the first time. And then I got a motorcycle and switched it to a Fu Manchu.
As Frank Zappa would say, smell my beard.
So my favorite smell, the first thing that comes to mind is Egyptian musk.
What?
Egyptian musk.
Is that Elon Musk's daughter?
No. I can't pronounce Elon Musk's daughter's name.
I don't know.
They gave her some kind of crazy symbol. Yeah. But yeah, Egyptian musk. It's a like an essential oil mix.
I'm not familiar. I don't like smells.
It's like a witchy woman kind of perfume.
Ooh,
Don't sing. No singing on this podcast. I'm gonna put my foot down.
Come on.
All right. Well, our Q&A section is done. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of another podcast. We have to give a listener challenge. And unless you have any ideas, I have a couple things in mind.
I think you should watch the HBO documentary, The Trial of Chicago 8.
That is not a random task.
No, it's a very specific one, but I think it's beautiful.
Well, you can take that as a suggestion if you're inclined, dear listener. Take the films that we said, Hair the Musical, directed by Miloš Forman.
Joe versus Volcano.
Joe versus the Volcano.
Bachelor Party.
Bachelor Party. Trial of the Chicago 8. And then add 2 that you get as a suggestion from a friend. Like, tell someone else you're making this list of movies.
Hold on. We also
we're gonna give
mentioned
them?
Holy Grail.
We did mention the Holy Grail.
And there has to have been another bad reference I made. Whatever the 6th reference is, it's hidden in this podcast.
I mentioned Trauma. We could put a Trauma film on there.
Trauma War.
Trauma War. So those are your 6. Roll a 6-sided die, and whatever you roll for, watch that movie. Watch the whole thing if you can. And email us at youraleatoricreality@gmail.com and tell us what you thought of it. And I will end on a random quotation.
Ask not what you can do for your country. I am a jelly donut.
David is being the random quote generator right now.
Sorry, I meant to say, Ich bin Berliner. I love that there was a time in America where somebody was like, wrote a political speech and didn't fact check it, and they didn't know that Kennedy was actually referring to a jelly donut.
And we'll close with a random quote. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. Albert Einstein.
And do more acid. Sorry.
You know, the problem, though, is that all of these quote generators give you, like, positive quotes.
Yeah.
We need to have a mix of light and dark in this show, because it's not truly random if it's all positive. I noticed, I thought LeVar Burton was all about, like, fairness and equality.
Yeah.
But Reading Rainbow only publishes good reviews. Did you ever notice that?
I've never fact-checked LeVar Burton before. I assume that the beret he wore over his eyes was enough.
And that's the end.